You thought reviewing them 2 times last year was ridiculous. Well, here we go. The first of 4 Weezer projects that are set to come out this year, and guess what? They're all going to be within 3 months of each other, as they have decided to do this thing where they're releasing these EPs called seasons, and each EP will correspond with the current season, and they decided here in March to start off with spring, which means they're doing spring, summer, fall, winter in that order. And this is interesting for them because each EP is going to have a different sound as to what Rivers Cuomo thinks the season is going to sound like overall. And with this first one here, which is spring, we're getting a more happy type sound. I think this is the one he said sounds more like a Jack Johnson in some sort of way, but I think we're going to get more depressing as it goes on. Like winter is definitely going to be probably the most depressing one, but it's 7 tracks, so when you're going in to listen to it, it's not going to be excruciating. The songs are pretty short, so you can kind of just, go through it, listen, and really think about it for a second. As my least favorite track was probably All This Love. I don't know, I think it had the weakest chorus, and it just didn't hit me as much as the other 6 songs did. I mean, there is redeeming qualities to it, but it wasn't anything spectacular. I have 2 songs in the okay, which is Angels on Vacation and The Garden of Eden. I don't know, again, there was that just something missing with them that kind of just threw me off. I think for the most part the chorus saves these songs, but that's really about it. The only really fantastic thing I can say about these songs in general. Then we have the rest of the 4, which make my favorite. Opening Night is a great kickoff. It's actually the shortest song on the album at 2 minutes and 28 seconds, but you kind of get that Weezer intensity that you would expect. Like, this is definitely probably the closest to power pop they have been since maybe Everything Will Be Alright in the End. Like, it's interesting in this sense how this song can kind of, sound like something that they did back then. Majority of these songs can definitely sound like that. It's just, it was cool hearing something so similar to their power pop days. A Little Bit of Love, again, I think just super catchy. Love the chorus on this thing. And then we have Sounded Drums and Wild at Heart, which Wild at Heart, it took me a couple listens, but I realized after like 2 or 3 listens of it that I actually do really like it. It's not necessarily the one that I would say I would wanted to finish off this EP, but I think it does its thing for the mood of the EP overall and just how it wants to make you feel. So Weezer with this first EP definitely do a good job. Again, with their consistency issues, I'm very worried as to how the other 3 are going to go, because really, they've been on a roll. The 2 albums last year were great, and this thing was pretty good. Now with EPs, I don't know if I clarified this on this channel, but EPs I only rate out of 5 because they tend to be a little shorter and, give me less to go off of than an album would, so ranking them out of 10 would just be unfair. So with this EP, I give it a 3.5 out of 5. I would definitely recommend a listen, and I can only hope that the rest of the EPs are at least better, if not just this good, and they can continue to wow me and continue being consistent for what seems to be the first time in a long time. But again, I think what attracted me to this EP was they definitely had their old power pop sound show up while mixing in with other albums like, say, Maladroit, or even some portions it sounds like the Red Album. To many that can be a good or a bad thing, because the Red Album is so jumbled and mismatched. It's just one of those 50-50 albums, but it is mainly the good stuff about the Red Album that it takes from it. Like, I think it was Wild at Heart, the final song, it kind of had the similar guitar riff to that of Troublemaker, which I like that song. It kind of reminds me of what they did on Van Weezer, where all of the good ones kind of sounded like Beverly Hills. Like, you hear it and you're like, this sounds very familiar, but you know what? At this point, Weezer's been around so long that recycling some of their riffs and stuff like that isn't necessarily a surprise, especially when they're able to do something different with it each time. So yes, I would definitely recommend you go listen to this. It's 7 tracks, it's fairly short, so again, you're not going to sit there and have to listen to this excruciatingly long, deep album. It's just Weezer doing their thing, having fun, and in a couple of months, we'll see what the summer seasons have to offer. I mean, that's big for me because my birthday is in the summer in August, so I might be getting a album close to my birthday by Weezer. We'll see. Technically, it might be June. If they're releasing these every like 3 months or so, then it'll probably be in June. But you know, is what it is there. So far, 1 of 4 for Weezer, and the other 3 we'll just have to see how it goes for them overall. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this. If you've heard this EP, you can tell me in the comments below what do you think, and what songs are your favorite, which ones are your least favorite, and how do you think these other EPs are going to turn out. But until then, stay safe out there, wear your mask, get vaccinated, and I will catch you all in the next one.